Hello my friends. My grandsons are 2 years old and 8 months old. And the 2-year-old, I thought it was time he learns how to shoot bow and arrow. So I made here, actually I made 2 bow and arrows, so can't give to one and not the other. This bow is made to scale the American flat bow, and it's 2.5 times smaller than an adult bow. And here is arrows in the quiver. So I'm going to show you how to make the bow and another video on the accessories. Okay, here I took it down to 1/2 inch. You can see the curvature. That's where the bark layer was, and that layer is unbroken. Okay, now this is going to be cut to 29 inches in length. This is marked at 29 inches. Now this was taken down to 1/2 inch diameter, and the reason for that is the handle is going to be 1/2 inch diameter. The limbs on both sides of the handle are going to be taken down to approximately half of this dimension, and that'll be worked down by hand. And what I'm doing is patterning this small bow, the mini bow, from the American flat bow, and I have instructions on that in one of my other videos. It gives the dimensions for the American flat bow, but we have to scale it down, and it's scaled down approximately 2.5 times. The finished bow, the width of it is the widest part, about 1 inch. This is 1 inch tape, and what I'm going to do is set the tape on. So now from here I'll put my center line on. Center will be 14.5. Center line. At 2 1/4, that would be 1 1/8. There's 2 1/4, 1 1/8 to the center line. The handle is 1/2 inch wide. 1/2 inch thick, 1/2 inch wide. Okay, now this has to make a transition to the 1 inch mark. So this transition is going to be 1 inch from our mark, which will be here. This tape works much better than drawing onto the wood. The limb will be parallel for 1 inch, just about 1/3 of the way down. So what we have is 12.5 inches. So let's say 4 inches down we'll put our mark. Just a little more than half. So let's see what we have here. Okay, 8.5. We're going to go 4 inches. Okay, after you've placed a 1 inch tape, start by laying out your center line down the tape, then find center of the tape. So that center is going to be roughly 14.5 inches to the center, right here. This dimension here, the hand grip, this is 2 1/4 inch from here to here. Now measuring down 1 inch in this direction, and both sides, place this mark. Now you have a transition. This handle is 1/2 of an inch in thickness. 1/2 thick. From here, which is the 1/2 inch mark, 1/2 inch diameter, draw a line to your 1 inch mark here. This is the transition from the handle to the limb. Now all these, we're not going to have sharp corners. These will all be softened, they'll be blended. Now this limb, we're dividing this up from this mark, 4 inch, 4 inch, and then 4 plus. It'll be roughly 4 1/4 to 4 1/2 inch. This will have your knock for the string. Okay, this 4 inch distance here is parallel. Then the next 4 inch, we're going to go from our center, 5/8 inch diameter. Here to here is 5/8. Draw a line. This is where the bow limb tapers to the 5/8 inch mark. The very tip here finishes at 1/4 inch, so go to 1/4 inch and taper from the 5/8 inch dimension here to the end of the limb. Okay, now we're going to cut on this line on the tape. The 1/2 inch handle here is going to taper down through this transition on the side to roughly 1/4 inch to 3/16 of an inch, and what's going to determine that is when you're tillering the limbs. Now when I cut this, I'm going to stay to the outside of the line. I don't want to hit the line. I want to be slightly oversized because we can't add onto this. Okay, from this point here, this is pretty much parallel, roughly 1/4 of an inch, and it's going to finish slightly under. And then from here to here, it's a transition line. So I'm going to remove this material here with the bandsaw, and the rest will be handworked down. Starting to look like a bow, and then the handle area will be rounded, and then all the edges will be softened. And again, this is where the cambium layer was, the bark layer, and that has been removed. It'll be lightly sanded. If you watch the grain, that will let you know if you're staying on the same layer, growth ring, and that will help you get a uniform thickness. And this waviness here, you just have to work with this, not try to make it straight, because we need to keep the integrity of that first layer. The end here gets real flexible. What you can do is put a piece of wood underneath it to give it support so that you can continue the cutting. Now this area here was left at 1 inch. We want to finish this at approximately 7/8 of an inch. If you don't have confidence with a draw knife, then use a hand plane. That will control how much you're digging into the wood. And you can't cut uphill, it would rip out. So in that area, you have to cut downward. Okay, I like to use the hand plane to knock the corners off. Finishing the bow with shellac. After the leather has been wrapped, I'm going to saturate it with shellac. This will lock it all together. It's also given it a nicer color. It will also help bond it, make it stick better to the handle. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, my friends. Bye-bye.